Now you know something is definitely up when you have Oda have Luffy and Zoro stay behind, especially considering that these two are the strongest fighting force within the Straw Hats, and so this is leading me towards the idea that these two are probably going to take on Kizaru and the Gorosei when they do show up. So this could be what Oda might be setting up here. So Egghead is about to become a battlefield. I mean, it was crazy enough with Kizaru by himself, he was already a problem, and then you add in the Gorosei into this whole equation. Honestly, at this point, we don't have any idea what's going to come out of this. And to make matters even worse, we have big news sort of making this whole situation even worse, right? Because he's adding more fuel into the fire, with him having a headline involving Luffy. But this time, he's making Luffy sort of responsible for kidnapping Vegapunk, and also waging war against the Marines. Now, the Marines already know what's happening, and this news will definitely play in your favor because the war government had the intention of killing Vegapunk in the first place. So if Morgans is relaying this information that Luffy kidnapped Vegapunk, it plays within their agenda. But the issue doesn't necessarily arise from the Marine side of things, but more so from the world's perspective, because now people are going to know that Luffy and Vegapunk are on Egghead Island, and possibly the idea that the Marines could be there as well. So in a sense, this is almost like a war. And so when you have the idea of war coming into play, you're going to have individuals that's going to want to take advantage of that situation. So we're definitely going to see people come out of the woodworks to come to Egghead, as well as to see what's actually going on there. So Morgans is actually inciting more chaos into this whole thing, as chaotic as it is already. We know that Vegapunk has ties to many characters, so we might see some characters that are tied to him actually show up. And we also have to take Luffy's notoriety into account as well. Luffy is a full-fledged Yonko. At this point, people are going to realize that there's more happening here. So a lot of people are going to be watching how this situation unfolds. And if they feel that they can take advantage of it, they will. So I like where this is going. It's the typical adding more chaos into an already bad situation, right? In turn, creating more chaos. So I like where this is headed for sure. Now, before we keep going, guys, I'd appreciate it if you dropped a like on this video. Let's go for 500 likes. Subscribe if you're new here, and hit the bell if you want to get notified for more content. Now back to the chapter. Now the situation on Egghead right now is actually very interesting because there's multiple plot lines at play here. First, we have the Bonnie situation. As of right now, she's seemingly in Kuma's memories. Secondly, we have the Straw Hats that are headed to find Vegapunk because he disappeared. How he disappeared, we're not sure, but it seems like when Bonnie entered Kuma's memories, he sort of disappeared at the same time. And the third thing is that there's someone that we're not aware of, or a traitor of some sort, and he might be, or this individual might be responsible for making Vegapunk disappear, which is interesting because this was sort of hinted even before this chapter, because initially when Rob Lucci and Kaku tried to invade the Labo phase, at some point we saw that the defense systems actually came down without any of the punks doing anything. So either that was a malfunction or there was actually someone interfering with what's going on right now. And I think this chapter confirmed that it's more of the latter, right? And that there is a traitor, or at least someone that we're not aware of, that's in cahoots with the world government or Vegapunk, or even possibly a third party. Now, the first person that comes to mind is Punk 1. I think that's the obvious answer for a lot of people because he has easily the most shady design, even though he looks the coolest out of all the punks, but he also gives off the vibe that he's very mysterious. So he's sort of the first person that I'm looking at here. When it comes to the other Vegapunks, I don't really see it, right? I don't know if it's their personality or design. There's something that's telling me that it's probably not one of these guys. But then again, that could be deviation tactics from Oda, right? We know for sure that it's not Punk 5 because he got attacked in this chapter, so that takes him out of the equation. But it could also be someone that we're not aware of at all, like a new character. And this is actually something that a lot of people have been talking about for quite some time now. The fact that more than likely there's a traitor in this whole thing. Now, as to who this individual is going to be allied with, we don't know. It makes sense for it to be the world government, but it could also be a third party. And again, coming off of Stussy betraying CP0, I'm not surprised that we could also see another betrayal happen here as well. So this for sure is definitely leading towards more interesting things happening. Now we also get to see Sentomaru in this chapter as well, and here he dispatches 50 pacifistas to allow Vegapunk to escape. And these pacifistas are apparently new pacifistas and upgraded versions from the ones that we saw in Marineford. And these ones, apart from the lasers that they usually have, also seem to have an ability or some sort of defensive power in which they're able to create this shield bubble that can block attacks. It's very similar in terms of aesthetics to Bartolomeo's Devil Fruit, so I wonder if that's what they cloned here with the green blood. but it would seem that all these 50 pacifisters are going to shore to see if the Marines are coming. And I think more than likely they are going to be used as hype tools for Kizaru or even the Gorosei, one of them. But then again, we do also know that the Gorosei has the highest authority chip, so he might have the highest authority chip for these pacifistas as well, so they don't necessarily have to be hype tools, so it could go either way. Now, we do also get a brief tease of Kuma's backstory in this chapter. Granted, it was a few pages, but we did get a glimpse of Kuma's childhood. And here, it would seem that he was being attacked as a kid, and there's these people telling him to come back or they're going to be killed. In which Kuma responds by saying that if he goes back to that place, more than likely he's going to die. Which more than likely is Marie-Joie, because we do also see a silhouette of the Celestial Dragon. Now, one thing I think you can gather from this for sure is that this is kind of a similar case to Kaido's backstory, in which the citizens of Kuma's country couldn't pay their royal taxes, so they sort of made a deal with the world government to give Kuma to them. Now, why Kuma specifically? Because Kuma is from a special race, so there's something that Kuma has that the world government wants, and his race is definitely a key part here. Now, we did learn that Kuma's race is very durable and can handle experiments and stuff like that, but I'm not sure if we got the whole story to that whole thing, right? There's definitely more to his race than what was said, and the Celestial Dragons are definitely trying to use that for some sort of purpose. And this is very interesting because all of this is taking place while Kuma is actually climbing his way to Marie-Joie as we speak, so it seems like his story is tied to these Celestial Dragons. So more than likely this whole backstory is going to be wrapped up in pieces, but I do hope that we get to the bottom of everything. And the fact that we do also have Saturn on his way, he may be tied to this whole situation as well, and he could add on to the story even more. And which in turn could give Bonnie initiative to fight against Saturn. So we'll see where that goes. Now, at the end of the chapter, we get a reveal that we've been waiting for quite some time now, ever since the reverie happened. And here, apart from the situation with Morgans and him making a new headline, we do also come to find out that Vivi is with Morgans and surprisingly Wapol, which is a very interesting lineup of characters, because initially I was of the mindset that Vivi more than likely was with Sabo, but that doesn't seem to be the case, and it seems like Morgan played a role into hiding Vivi away from the world government. So it really makes you wonder, where the heck is Sabo? Now, we know that he was at Lelouchia just recently, but it really makes you question what exactly he's doing right now. Now, Wapol being here makes a lot of sense as well, because we do know that Wapol had some crazy intel that he was going to give to Morgans, and this was when we had one of those transition chapters back in Wano. And you can see in this chapter that he is scared for his life. So whatever he saw at the reverie definitely shook him to the point where he thinks that the world government is probably going to kill him, right? He's paranoid. Now, it's either one of two things. Him finding out about the existence of Imu, or that the world government is responsible for Cobra's death. One of the two. But given the fact that Vivi is here and taking context into account, it's very likely to be Cobra getting assassinated. And again, this information more likely has been relayed to Morgans, so Morgans is pretty much free to do whatever he wants, which he is already inciting more chaos as it is. But I definitely feel like this is leading towards the idea of more people coming to Egghead because of whatever Morgans is going to do here, and that's going to trickle down to all sorts of chain of events. And notable characters potentially showing up as well. Like if Dragon was to hear that Vegapunk got captured by Luffy, I wonder what Dragon would do. Now, I have made a video saying that Dragon is going to come to Egghead, so this could be a really good leeway for that to happen. So we'll see where this is all leading towards. But that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I'd appreciate it if you dropped a like on this video. Comment down below what you guys think. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Hit the bell if you want to get notified for future content. You can follow me on Twitter at Ferrospace, but it is Ferro, guys, and I will see you folks later. Peace.